If love could measure wealth, then those born before the 1990s were surely rich. Back then, families were large. 3 or 4 children was the norm. The older kids would care for the younger ones so parents could work. The eldest might even take on jobs to help feed the family. And only the youngest had the luxury of a carefree childhood wrapped in their parents' and siblings' love. That's why being the eldest sibling isn't easy, and being the oldest sister, that takes even more. Hi friends, it's Chi from Me, and today I want to share the story of someone I deeply admire, a woman I call a model eldest sister, Hai Đào. She was beautiful, capable, and endlessly loving, the kind of sister who gave and rarely kept anything for herself. Madame Sun had 8 children. Her husband passed when she was still pregnant with her youngest child. Being a widow mother is tough in any era, but even more so during wartime. Thankfully, all her children were kind and helpful. Little Tuan, still a child himself, took care of 3 younger siblings, strict and responsible. Lan and Cook, though small and playful, had their older siblings harvest rubber latex with skill. And then there was Hai Đào, gentler, even more devoted. After harvesting rubber latex all night, she'd come home without rest to cook and break the render biscuits for her mother. When her mother returned from selling, hot rice and sweet soup were already waiting. Her siblings adored her, partly because she was gentle, but mostly because she loved them deeply. Whatever was tasty, she gave of her share. She did everything beautifully, brushed their hair with care, cleaned them spotless, ironed their clothes crisp. The neighbor often whispered, "Whoever marries Hai Đào is truly blessed. She's beautiful in looks and soul." Yet, while others her age were marrying at 15 or 16, Hai Đào kept working to support her family. Once, while carrying rubber home, she accidentally spilled it onto her long black hair. It hardened like cement, and her mother had to cut it off. As the saying goes, hair and teeth define a person's beauty. She mourned that loss, both physically and emotionally. From that day, she wore a scarf wherever she went, too shy to meet anyone's eyes. Suitors came, but she hid away. At 18, Hai Đào finally married. Though she knew women needed someone to lean on, she cried her heart out leaving her mother and siblings. Sadly, her marriage was short. At just 20, with a 6-month-old baby, she lost her husband. The world worsened. She returned from Dầu Tiếng to Cái Sắn, Kiên Giang, where her mother had already relocated the family in hopes of safety and fertile soil. Back home, her mother gave her 2 plots of land to survive. Hai Đào, always hardworking, finished chores at home and took on labor jobs for others. People loved hiring her, quick, reliable, humble. Her youngest sister tried tagging along once, but after getting leeches on her feet, ran straight home. Hai Đào worked let alone, never complained, never blamed. In the 1960s, her younger sibling moved to Saigon for school and work. Hai Đào followed, seeking better chances. Thanks to her skills, she got a job at an American company, where workers could bring leftover food home. Her siblings waited eagerly for her daily deliveries. Life seemed to settle, work, home, family. But life is never predictable. In 1975, everything changed. The country turned a new chapter. The home family returned to their roots. The rice fields were their anchor. Land means survival. But now, Mem Xuân family began scattering. Some went to re-education camps. Some married far away. Others fled by boat to foreign countries. Hai Đào let her eldest daughter live with her younger brother, praying she would reach brighter souls, and she did, sending a letter from Australia after safely arriving. In 1987, Hai Đào, now braver, took her youngest daughter on a boat. Before leaving, she visited all her siblings. To her youngest sister, who lived far away, she gave everything in her pockets, knowing the sea held no promises and she might never return. That boat was tiny, a simple fishing vessel stuffed with dozens of people. They huddled in the corners, baked by the sun, battered by sea winds. She still trembles recalling the days lost at sea, lips cracked dry, no soul in sight. It was that stormy sea that deepened her faith in God. Only a miracle could keep them alive in that fragile boat. After time in a refugee camp in Thailand, Hai Đào and her daughter were sponsored to reunite with her eldest in Australia. Though adjusting slowly, her younger daughter adapted well. Both daughters married, built families, carved out a life in a foreign land. Hai Đào, though older, returned to school, learning to speak, read, and navigate the bus system on her own. She didn't want to burden her kids. They had their own struggles, so she learned, one step at a time, to keep up and to understand her grandchildren who spoke little Vietnamese. Though she didn't work in factories anymore, she became the family's heart, caring for the children, managing the home. Her daughters and her grandkids were grateful, always giving her gifts and money. But Hai Đào, modest as ever, saved it all, sending some home to her siblings, her mother, even distant relatives in need. Once her youngest sister tallied it all, Hai Đào had quietly sent back gold bars worth. Years later, when her grandchildren were grown, Hai Đào returned home for 3 months each year to be by her mother's side. She cooked every meal, massages her mother's limbs, and made her laugh daily. A 70-year-old cloning for a 100-year-old, that's real filial piety, like something from the ancient tales. But even the strongest trees fall. One day, Madame Sun passed at 102. Though rare to live that long, her children still weren't ready. When a mother's gone, the roots feel lost. Hai Đào wept endlessly at the funeral. Her daughter feared for her health, but grief knows no logic. Hai Đào was now a child who'd lost her mother, adrift in a dark sea once again. Still, life goes on. As long as God keeps us here, sweet days await. The first memorial was the brightest since her mother passing. Family returned to the home at Kiên Giang, the riverside house, the old fields, the peaceful stream. Hai Đào came back too. These were likely her last visits. Her health was failing, long flights posed risk. She didn't want to trouble her children further, so she made the most of it. A warm, full reunion. When it came time to leave, Hai Đào cried again. But this time, they were tears of joy. She had honored her mother, embraced her family, and kissed the side of home once more. The future, who knows? But for Hai Đào, this was enough. It was grace. See, the quiet blossom from Madame Sun's garden had bloomed into the most radiant beach flower đào of a beautiful spring.
Nắng hạ đi, mây trôi lang thang cho hạ buồn, coi khói đốt đồng để ngắm ngùi, chim nhớ lá rừng. Ai biết mẹ buồn vui khi mẹ kêu cậu tới gần, biểu cậu ngồi, mẹ nhổ tóc sâu hai chị em tóc bạc như nhau. Đôi mắt cậu buồn hiu phiêu lưu, rong chơi những ngày đầu trưa. Ba giá muốn vùa đường mòn xưa, dáng nắng dầm mưa. Ai cách xa cội nguồn, ngồi một mình nhờ lũy tre xanh dạo quanh. Khung trời kỷ niệm chợt thèm rau đắng nấu canh. Xin được làm mây mà bay khắp nơi giang hồ, ghé chốn quê hương xa rời từ cất bước ly hương. Xin được làm gió dập dìu đưa điệu ca dao, trái bếp hiên sao cũng ngọt ngào một lời cho nhau. Xin sống lại tình yêu đơn sơ, rong chơi những ngày đầu trưa. Ba giá muốn vùa đường mòn xưa, dáng nắng dầm mưa. Xin nắng hạ thổi buồn để mình ngồi nhớ lũy tre xanh dạo quanh. Khung trời kỷ niệm chợt thèm rau đắng nấu canh.